Welcome back to the Creator Incorporated podcast, joined by Stephen Cho. Stephen Cho, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yes. Cho, you run a comic account. It's a comic strips, but posted on Instagram and TikTok called The Brown Bags. More importantly, Cho and I are boys.
That's true.
We are definitely boys. So I've seen it from like the start. You know, I've been with it. I've been a Brown Bags. I own Brown Bags merch. I engage with the Brown Bags, all the above. But it's sick. Like it is cool that you make comics. Have you considered that before?
I always discredit myself and downplay it, but it is obviously good to hear positive feedback. Keeps you going. And Jack's been one of my number one fans since day one. Yeah. When the comments are running dry, I can always count on Jack for a quick boost to the algorithm.
I take a lot of pride in the comment section, being a comment section warrior. I mean, I say it every single time I talk to someone or like someone influencer or whatever that's been on the show. I'll be like, listen, I will get in the comment sections and fight. Fight like anyone. I'll get in the muck, or I'll say something that could hopefully get a bunch of likes on comments.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, like I guess a creator, if you want to call me that, people forget like how long of a way that goes. Everyone will come up to me and be like, dude, I love your stuff. And it's like, I know you haven't been liking or like comment. I don't actually pay that much attention, but it's like, you know, if you actually love my stuff, just give it a quick comment to show some praise. And I think from my side, people forget how like far that goes.
Right.
So,
you know, it's huge. It's huge, man. I was gonna get into it. What was I gonna say? I think like the origin story is so interesting to me, and the fact that you know, it's a lot of craft that goes into it. I remember when you first were making the comics, I was like, this is impressive. I thought it was like pre-templated thing. Is there any template that you use when you're doing it, or did you literally like draw the brown bags?
Every like background I'll draw, but like the bags themselves. So to give a little context, the comic strip is usually 2 brown bags, and just going through regular life situations or like a original joke sometimes. But the bags themselves are somewhat templated. I have to still draw their face and eyes and emotions or whatever, but like the body. So that makes it kind of easier. Trying to figure out a way to make it as quick as possible. I know we've talked a little bit about this, but you know, in today's day and age, you need to be posting every single day, multiple times a day, some people say. So just trying to find a way to make it templatized as much as possible.
Yeah, it's brutal because on one hand, the comics are so good because of the fact, like the level of detail and the craft that goes into it. But then you have to consider, you know, is this sustainable? Especially knowing that you also have a full-time job, like you have a full-time career and a life.
Yeah. Outside
of just making the comics. So I'm sure that was always like something hard to balance. Is there a way to like, you know, make it easier on yourself? Are you coming up with the ideas ahead of time and then doing it, or do you sit down and you're like, okay, I gotta come up with an idea?
I've kind of started. I have 2 like vlogs now that I've made where it's like this is the process of me making a comic, and I really dramatize. What's the right word?
Dramatize.
Dramatize it. But realistically, it's just like I have a running list in my notes app of any time I see like a funny situation happen in the wild or like someone annoys me. A lot of the comics are just like making fun of annoying things people do sometimes. So just like a running list that I think people would resonate to, and then, you know, just sit down at night and see which ones are ready, and then start sketching it out. But
love it. I remembered my question from earlier. I don't know if anyone remembered, but I had a really long pause because I couldn't remember the question I was going to ask. But it's this: have you ever gotten negative comments?
Not really. I think not like a DM wise. I mean, the content is not that controversial where people are coming after me.
I was saying people will always find a way to be mean in the comment section.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that could be applied to something like this that's so wholesome. And
one time someone said like the art. Okay, so like I made one comic where like I was making fun of a business here in New York, and I had their name like written out, and my girlfriend was like, you should probably not include that. So I just like scrambled up the letters, and then someone was like, it looked like an AI generated image because the letters were scrambled up. So someone was like, "This guy's obviously using AI," but no, that's like the furthest I've gotten.
Dude, you're like, I wish I could use AI
Yeah,
to
kind of a
make this look
compliment.
accurate.
Yeah.
That is kind of a compliment.
Yeah.
Damn. So what's been your favorite comic that you've done so far?
Oof, that's a tough one. What's your
The
favorite
next
comment?
one.
The next one. The one, yeah. Stay tuned. I think one that really popped off was I made one about the Michelin Man or the Michelin Guide, where they rank like the best restaurants, or whatever, but no one really stops to think like that's like a tire company, and like why are they making a
People forget that's an advertising call out.
Actually, that is true. I
There
did
you
not
go.
say that just because of that. But yeah, and so just like made a joke about how like it's a tire company, and they just randomly have this list of amazing restaurants. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you hear that clip from another show? It was like talking about how Guinness World Records is like by Guinness beer.
People forget. Yeah.
That's cool.
Great way to get into the common person's headspace, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of getting in the common person's headspace, have you ever gotten reached out about like someone wanting to sponsor or partner on the content? I know you got something in the works right now, and it's not like a sponsorship part, but more of a collaboration. I don't know if you want to tease it out, but
yeah, I mean, I've talked to you. We were just talking about this before we started rolling, but just like how simple it is to just reach out to some of these, lesser known content creators, like with less than like 100,000 followers. You'd be surprised like how willing they are to work with you or just like give you a shout out. So that's something I'm trying to do a little bit more. The first time I did that was with this comedian, Hans Kim. He's on Kill Tony. And I was like, dude, I love your stuff. Can I just animate one of your bits? So I did one of his bits as like a brown bag, and we did like a collab post that's like still my highest viewed post of all time. So
nice.
I was like, I'm gonna do this more, and then I just like never did it again.
Yeah, right. This is a common pitfall of the content creation game.
So many ideas, but yeah, executing is a tough part. But to your point, I've started to do that a little bit more often, and there's a couple niche content creators that I know you and I both like, and hopefully collabing with one of them, the up and coming ones.
Coming soon. Dot.
So hopefully doing that more often, just to honestly, like, I'm not trying to like get money from it or anything, just exposure, a couple shout outs, and hopefully grow.
Well, I've heard this from other content creators too, and it's such a good like position of leverage where it isn't your full-time. You're not trying to really get full-time money from content right now. Maybe down the road it can get to that point, but the fact that you have the ability to only focus on impressions and reach and just growing it is a good spot. And then again, the con of that, however, is that you don't have time. Like, you have a full-time job.
Yeah, the money part is tough. That's such like a long-term goal, and like it'll come with time if things like really pop off. But I mean, even if I wanted to force that, like right now, it wouldn't be that optimal, So you almost just got to focus on doing it because you enjoy it. And like literally that'll keep you going because like you're not really gonna make much money out the gate.
No, and do you feel like you still enjoy it as much as when you started?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken several breaks. I feel like I'm on like season 4 of Brown Bags.
Yeah.
So I had my first, few runs, and then I took like a year break because I was like trying to post very often, trying to crack the algorithm, and I was just like doing quantity over quality, and I didn't even think the stuff I was putting out was that funny. So I took a long break, and now I'm just kind of posting whenever I have a good one.
Yeah.
And so doing it for the love of the game now, and it's a lot more fulfilling that way, and not focused on trying to go viral or make money or anything like that.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like I've experienced that too. It's like the start is you're doing it for the love of the game, and it's really fun. And then you get a couple that maybe get some good traction, or you get a bunch of followers or whatever, and then you start really honing in. I got to chase that high.
Yeah, like this could be a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so you really try to work hard to try to crack the algorithm, like you said, and then it ends up not being that fun, and then that usually shows, like I'm sure in your opinion, like the content you were making when you were really trying to crack the algorithm code just wasn't fun, and probably in your mind was shitty.
Yeah, and then you over-index on like the results, right? So if I really try to crack the algorithm, or I think I have a really good idea that's going to go viral, and then it gets like 50 likes, then I'm like beating myself up, right? But now that I'm just doing it like for fun, pretty much, it's like I can live with whatever result the internet says.
Yeah.
And like if it does pop off, that's like a nice, sweetener. But
for sure. Now let's give a little bit of context too, because I keep referencing the fact that you have a full-time job. Are you able to say like what you do outside of the brown bags?
It's dependent on my company. So I've switched around a few jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm well known in my friend circles for doing that. A lot of situations out of my control, I gotta say.
Hey.
Don't just read the resume, ask me about the story behind each one.
That's right.
But I've been in like very, very corporate environments. I worked at Deloitte for a while, and not for a while, for a year. But now I'm working in tech where, the environment's a lot more casual, a lot younger people my age. So now I'm a little bit more open about it. No way I'm telling my, senior manager at Deloitte that I'm doing this on the side.
Oh my gosh, they wouldn't even be able to comprehend. They would explode.
That's not adding to shareholder value. It just takes me out back.
They're like, but what's the ROI on this? They're like, you're really spending time doing something that's not going to maximize ROI?
Yeah, and there has been like a shift in, maybe it's just working at a tech company, but in recent years, I feel like there's been a shift to like, advocating for doing stuff outside of work, having fun hobbies, and more of a work-life balance or whatever, harmony.
Yeah, nice. I like that.
Harmony. Yeah.
Is that the go-to term now? Work-life harmony.
I think Jeff Bezos says that to avoid talking about work-life balance.
Yeah, he's like, well, if our factory workers enjoy being in the factory 150 hours a week, it's more of a harmony than anything else. That's really funny. So yeah, I mean, when you started the brown bags, do you remember like the first one you made, like when this was?
Yeah, it was. I think I've since like archived it because it was so bad. But you could still scroll back and see like the early iterations, and it's just so funny because I always thought I was a pretty good doodler, pretty artistic, and I still think my art's pretty basic for what it is. Like other artists are very, very good, but the early iterations are just such dog shit, and not that fun. I mean, the jokes were there. The
concept.
Yeah, it's just so funny. They just look like stick figures, basically.
That's awesome. Yeah, I started somewhere.
Yeah, so I kind of want to like go back because a lot of those ideas and jokes are kind of funny. I want to like repurpose it. Yeah, remastered.
Like yes, I like that. Brown Bags Remastered could be its own Instagram page.
Yeah.
At some point, because you have a very clear style. I think that whether it's by definition of classically trained artists, good or not, really the only thing that matters, I think, to people is that you have a unique style.
Yeah.
And it's like funny, and it's something that's repeatable. So over the years, you said you kind of like bounced back and forth of doing it and not doing it. Do you think, like, why do you think it's so hard to be super consistent? Is it because of life? Is it because...
Yeah, I mean, life, man. No, I mean, it's kind of what I talked to before. You get in your own head, like, why am I doing this? I'm not making money from it. My page, you don't really get as many followers. You kind of plateau a little bit after the initial bump.
Right.
And then it's just like, what am I, like, you're putting hours into it, distracting yourself from other hobbies. And it's like, is this really worth it? But that goes back to the point of, like, you just got to find enjoyment out of it. And that's where I've kind of settled into. But yeah, I know. As you get older, too, it's like everyone's taking their jobs a lot more serious. You guys are starting your own company over here, and I'm just drawing comics. And it's like, all right, maybe I should be doing other stuff. But, yeah.
No, if it's something you like doing, I mean, this is just, advice that we get, is you just got to keep rolling with it. I mean, to be honest, like at the very core of what, Breaking and Entering does is we pretty much just make like funny videos for the internet, or like interesting, engaging.
And everything else will, kind of follow.
And everything else just figures itself out. So, yeah, I mean, it's impressive that you actually go back. Like you're saying, season 1, 2, 3, and 4. I would say it's almost more impressive that you've taken breaks and still come back to it.
Yeah. There's something there. There's probably a lesson there, or
So. Like you just can't quit it.
Exactly.
It's like that girl, you just can't quit. She's not good for you.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going back to it. So when you were first starting, were you ever worried about people being like, this is lame, or people being roasting any of that stuff, or were you always like, I don't really care?
No, honestly, a little bit. I actually so I started making them during COVID, and I was going for probably like 6 months where I was just like trying to grow it on my own, seeing if it would stick, and I told like 2 people maybe at the time. And then finally, like when it finally stuck and I was like, okay, there's something here, I was like, all right, this is my page. And I started telling people. But yeah, initially I was like, I don't like to do stuff. I don't like to tell people I'm doing stuff before like I know it's going to be a thing, So I wanted to make sure it had legs first.
Soft launch.
Yeah, soft
Dude,
launch.
I like that a lot. And then you let people see it. And then was there any, do you remember like a specific comic or time where things did kind of start to catch some traction?
Yeah, I mean, the early COVID years, I'm trying to figure out what the secret sauce was. Like, I think it was like initially telling all my friends. There was that pop, they were telling their friends. I think I grew like in that first year in COVID, just like a couple thousand followers off the gate. And then, yeah.
You just been riding it. You've been riding it out.
Yeah.
And that is crazy. And then you got merch too.
I got merch.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Cho and I have just spent hours texting about how to frickin' figure out merch.
Yeah, hopefully you guys got it all figured out.
Yeah, I don't know. We got it figured out, but we've got some products that sometimes get shipped to people.
Yeah, it's just cool having like to the comment about comments where people are supporting your stuff. It's even like 10x when you see them wearing your merch, and it's like, dude, really, really appreciate that. Even it's so silly. It's a Comfort Colors tee, but it's like that they spent like $20 on, but it's like it just shows that they're supporting you, and it just feels so cool to see like, oh, dude, I made that.
Yeah, dude, I love my brown bag sweater. I wear it all the time.
I'll see it in your guys' videos, and I'm like, there it is.
I think I'm the only brown bags partner.
We can work out a deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I also was curious how you first got the idea to make comics, because that feels random to me.
Yeah.
But for you, was that just what made sense, or how did you even start thinking about making comics?
Yeah, I mean, during the early days of COVID, I think we had a lot of time to workshop a bunch of different hobbies and ideas. I was just like bored out of my mind, and one day just started. I had an iPad at home, so I was just kind of doodling on there. But I don't know, I've always loved, joking around. I did a few improv classes at the Second City.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was not the right route to get my jokes out, I don't think. More theater focused.
Yeah. It's a different,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always like thought about maybe doing a couple of open mics,
For
stand-ups, but that's tough.
Yeah, I was asked recently, like in a random thing, when I first found out I was creative. And that's kind of a lame question.
Yeah.
That's kind of a lame question to answer. But I was like, I think it was when I was getting those ha-has in the group chat. Like, I think, Joe, you might lead the league in group chat ha-has.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the launch pad though? Like,
yeah, I guess let me back up. I knew I had a gift from the early college days in the group me's. You hit a couple 40 likers in there, and you're like, there's something here.
Doncic numbers.
So I guess that's what you're trying to get at. Yeah, I've always been, love to joke around with my friends, love to make memes. In Jack and I's business frat in college, I was actually like the meme chair. It was like an official position where I was churning out memes on the weekly. And yeah, that was like one of my greatest runs ever of comedic content, and it's just sad that we'll never see those. I don't even know where they went. I think they like burned all those
for sure. Yeah, due to recent in light of recent accusations.
But I always just like loved getting my jokes out there, and it was like, how can I do this to like a broader audience, I guess. And to my point earlier, like, didn't want to get on stage and bomb. It's just a good way to get my stuff out there without putting my face out there behind like a comic. So.
I was gonna mention this earlier. It's super impressive. Like, you have I was looking at it before you hopped on. I was doing a little research. Almost 10,000 followers across Instagram and TikTok, and like to even maintain like 10K over the course of 5 years and get to that point is wild. And it's especially wild because you're not like. You're doing it as these comics. What people preach all the time is, at least on LinkedIn, social media content creator, thought leadership. So take that with a grain of salt. But like, you gotta put your face out there. You gotta have like personality, or like humanize the account. But yours is strictly like the dopest thing ever. It's anonymous.
Yeah. A wise man once said, you gotta record yourself outside, and that's gonna go viral. Episode 1, callback. But no, I agree with that, and like that is what takes off. You see like someone's face. It's a little bit more engaging from a consumer perspective. So, like I said before, I've been like trying to do a couple like vlog style. Yeah. Those are a little bit more work, but those have been doing pretty well. So maybe I'll do more of that.
Yeah, man, more vlogs. It is. I saw one of the comments on one of those vlogs that was like, "I never knew what. I've never seen you before.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I know I've seen all your stuff, but this is my first time seeing what you look like."
Dude, it still baffles me that like when people who are not my friends comment, and it's like, oh shit, there's people who are probably wondering what I look like or don't have no idea who I am.
No, that's the best. You gotta keep that mistake. Do you remember like back in the day, like liquidity and arbitrage? And
yeah.
They were some, at least in my experience. Yeah, like meme lords that were completely anonymous.
Yeah.
That was
Friday beers.
Yeah. Oh, come on, bro. Come on, man. Bring me back. But it is fun, and like the fact that you a meme guy. I love that meme guy, and there's nothing like that high of hitting the 40 liker, and then trying to replicate that on like a mainstream level is tough, because the best part about those memes is they hit so hard because they're so like specific and niche. Is that something you think about when you're making the comics? Is like, this has to be a little bit more mainstream?
Yeah, I mean, that is what tends to do pretty well. It's like what people can relate to and are gonna like share with their friends. It's like, oh, we were just talking about this situation. That's what people like to share out. So like I said, I tried to cater to that before, and then it's just an impossible game to play. So now I'm just, like I said, doing what I think is funny for myself, but maybe I should try to make it a little more specific.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt. The other thing I was going to ask is, do people just berate you with ideas?
All the time, and the hit rate of those ideas is probably 1 in 10. And, you just got to learn to, nod your head and be like, oh, yeah, I'll write it down. But some of the ideas I've gotten, there's this one kid back in Chicago who every time to this day, if I see him, he's like, dude, have you worked on my comic idea? And it's something about like how when you get a haircut, you use more shampoo and you don't realize because you have less hair. And every time I'm like,
genius.
Dude, I'm like, no one is going to resonate with this content at all.
Dude, that would be so hard to try to
so specific.
So specific. And it's like, it just took you like 15 seconds to like it fully demonstrate the idea. And honestly, like, I probably caught it more earlier than anyone else would.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to like replicate that and take that to the comic board?
Yeah. I know he'll like repost it. Hopefully, he owes me. He better,
No, he'd probably be like, "Where's my commission? You paying me for this?"
Dude, that's the other funny thing is like, people will say like an idea to me in passing, and I've already like probably had a similar type of idea, and then I'll post it, and they'll be like, yo, Cho made that comic about me. That was my idea. It's like, no, I already kind of had like that premise baked out, but I'll give them credit.
Hey, listen, you gotta give them what they want. You gotta give the people what they want. Also, random question: how'd you decide on them being brown bags?
I always had a talent of doodling, just doodling, but especially SpongeBob was my go-to.
Yeah, I remember these. I remember the SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Late night studying, I would just study break, pick up a marker and go ham on the.
Dude, you could do it in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, and like litter those whiteboards. But SpongeBob was my go-to. So the bag like outline is kind of like SpongeBob, so that was pretty easy. Mm-hmm. And then I guess a deeper message or symbolism is it's like the tagline: if the bag fits, wear it. So the idea being, if you see yourself in the comic, put a brown bag on, have no shame that you can relate to this, and that's kind of the idea.
Oh, that's sick.
But the short answer is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob is the first. And I know what Gino's about to do right now, so I think we're gonna have you draw a SpongeBob.
Bro.
Or a brown bag. Should we have him draw a SpongeBob or a brown bag?
SpongeBob.
Yeah, SpongeBob. Because this is, I know you iPad the brown bags, so we're gonna have you do it. I'll do it. Can you get me a marker as well, Gino?
Competition.
I'll try and do it. Yeah, I'll try and do it too. And you explain the like creative process of this SpongeBob. If anyone wants to follow along at home,
are we doing a specific prompt or?
Let's just do. Well, what do you usually do? Just like SpongeBob saying, let's do SpongeBob waving.
SpongeBob waving, all right.
All right, SpongeBob waving. This is good podcasting.
Yeah.
So I would do it like, it's kind of like, I think this is kind of good.
Too big. You got to make it 3D, so.
Oh, okay, thank you, Junior.
So, you start with the box outline. So little waves down.
We're going waves down, and he's doing waves across the top as well.
Now you want to make it 3D. That's what's going to pop.
Okay.
I'll give him a hat.
I mean, you're going hat mode. I'm going to go hat as well.
You're great podcasting.
No, I'm actually kind of impressed with my ability right now. So you're doing...
Yeah, what is going on over there?
No, I'm just going to speed run this. I don't remember what his eyes look like.
I know, that's always the toughest part.
What's the hardest part of drawing the brown bags?
Honestly, like I said, the outline is there, so that's the easy part. The background is easy. It's like, the facial features, or like the arm, like the fingers and stuff like that. The intricate details.
Yeah, the facial. Oh, that would take forever.
Yeah, so I've tried to templatize those as well to the best I can.
All the different. So how many different like facial feature templates do you have for them?
Like the eyes looking each direction.
Yeah.
Like different. Yeah. Oh my god.
So this is what I'm working with here.
That's tough.
This is a little bit of SpongeBob action.
Remember the eyes here.
I got it. I don't know where I'm gonna put his other arm. Is the issue.
Oh, that's not good.
And then you've got him with a tie. I forgot he has a tie.
It's little details.
And then he's got to have, what the fuck? What does his face look like?
It was always kind of a funny bit when I did this. I would draw this. You start with the eyes. His eyes kind of resemble a
what?
Boobs. So everyone's like, dude, what are you drawing? And then you fill out the rest of his body. And
you start with those first. All right, so it looks like you're wrapping up right now. Oh my gosh.
All right, good.
Okay, so now we'll compare.
All
right, 3, 2, 1. Gino, what do you think?
Oh my goodness, Jack.
This is SpongeBob after hotboxing a car.
Dude, that
Bro,
is
what
crazy.
is that?
Look at that.
I forgot to draw the holes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Right,
but that's good.
Point.
So
Yeah,
that was
job.
SpongeBob with Cho. SpongeBob
Cho
with
won that one.
Yeah, Cho takes that one.
Drop your votes in the comments.
We're actually live right now. Live at the studio. That was pretty good. All right, what else? Gino, you got anything?
I guess like who is a creator that you really want to like partner or collaborate with? Like dream creator.
Dream creator. Oof. That's tough. I like I said, I love these like micro influencers. Less than 100K, around 100K is a sweet spot. They haven't let the fame get to their head.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess I'll just say the guy I'm like hopefully going to work with is Trillingston, if you guys have seen his content. He started going a little viral with like day one of like working his corporate job, and like just it was the most mundane stuff, and it was just so relatable because like work can suck, and he just made it like so funny. And now he's like, he just quit his job because he just hated it, and he did like day whatever of being unemployed, kind of popped off, but very I don't know what the right word is, but because he started popping off, he actually just is now like a full-time content creator.
Yeah.
So I love those stories where especially people can quit their job and just do it full time.
He's awesome.
And he's
so freaking funny. I feel like he does a good job of just doing something that's completely different.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it reminds me, like when you're doing your vlogs for the brown bags, it's just different.
Yeah,
I've seen a million people do the same day in the life vlog on TikTok, and so those just don't cut through. But like it's like hilarious. Like you put the freaking rice in the microwave and you open the microwave and it's like a steak dinner.
Yeah.
And it's like random bits like that is so funny. But yeah, he's the GOAT.
Yeah, I like people like him because it's like, you tell everyone says you got to put out content every day, and in doing so, the content becomes so weak and it's just so saturated.
Yeah.
But the people who can still put out stuff every day and still have a unique spin to each video or content, whatever, those are like, they've cracked the code there, I feel.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people, don't talk about or don't mention when they say the thing about you have to put out content every day.
It has to be good, yeah.
Yeah, it has to. The content the big thing is the content the next day has to be better than it was the day before.
Right.
And so it requires more time, and like honestly, it probably takes the same amount of time every day to make the same. If you're doing the same thing every single day, it takes the same amount of time as long as you're like improving on it. Because theoretically you'd get better and quicker, but that means that you have more time to do other stuff and like add more to it or get more creative. But it's the people that just are like, oh, I'm gonna post every day, and so they just take 2 seconds and it's like kind of shitty
just to get it out there. Yeah, J. Cole once said, "People dropping songs every week, but they weak." So think about that. It's about quality sometimes over quantity.
People dropping songs every week, but they weak.
Yeah, think about it.
Damn, dude. Fuck. That's crazy. What song is that?
I think it was like a diss track because, you know, you had this era where you had guys like Mike Stud, if you remember him.
Yeah.
All these people who were dropping songs every week just to kind of like break the algorithm or whatever. But they were weak.
They were weak. They were literally.
Where are they
weak.
Now? They're gone. You know.
They are gone. Do you have any sneak previews of any future or any future brown bags?
I have like the whole running notes app here.
Yeah, want to go through a couple? Should we go through a couple?
Sure.
Let's see
we
what's
can
up.
Workshop maybe.
Yeah, let's workshop a couple.
That's the problem. You know, you have these ideas in your head, and just like what's the final punchline?
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. I want to do one about. You know, this is tough. Cut this, guys. No. I want to do one about, you know, the people who, you know, they complain. They're always complaining. And it's just like, why do bad things only happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
And the angle being like, dude, bad things happen to other people, but they just don't like complain about it out loud 24/7. And they got a person being like, nah, that's not it. that one's cut. That one's kind of weak. That one's kind of weak.
Well, it's hard to like talk about it out loud on a freaking podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like your thing is like you got to find the twist, like the punchline.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. Another thing that keeps coming up is a lot of people are getting cats nowadays. No offense to cat owners, but cat owners tend to think that, you know, they're so much cleaner than dogs and like they don't leave a mess. You go to someone's apartment who has a cat. You know right away that a cat is living there. There's so much hair. It kind of smells a little bit. And they just have this notion that, you know, they're so clean, you have no idea. But what's the punchline? How do I put that into a
how
comic?
do you it's like
stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's like cats have the cat playhouse thing.
Yeah.
Is huge.
Their literal litter box, their shit is right in front of the TV.
and then they're like, oh, like this cat doesn't really like being around people. And it's like the cat sits in the closet all day, every day.
So
there's no way they enjoy that. That's the other gripe I have about cats.
So, yeah, we have a couple good ideas here. How do we put it into?
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. Anyone can come up to you with the you use more shampoo idea, but it takes time and it's hard to actually put it into a version that is really funny and like bite size.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it just pisses me off, man. What's up, Gino?
The song was "The Cure" by J. Cole.
Nice.
I believe he sampled Beyonce's some song from Beyonce on there.
Ooh, a little double fact check.
Can we verify that?
Verify that.
Bring it to work.
Let's go. Come on. Listen, stay tuned for the next episode when we find out if that was correct. But Cho, dude, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, brother. Any parting words? And also, how can people find the brown bags?
Yeah. Find me at The Brown Bags on all socials. Mostly posting to Instagram and TikTok. Shoot me a follow. Shoot me a comment. You know I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Any ideas? I'll give you credit. Hopefully they're a little better than the shampoo one. But yeah, find me there.
And they have to actually be the concept too. You can't just be like, You can't just be like, you gotta talk about airplanes.
Airplanes, yeah. they're all falling down recently.
Hey, come on, man.
Yeah.
But hey, appreciate it, brother. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Shout out, Joe.